Bobby C, this is Joey C from New Jersey. We're talking about step 10, and you do all your research and you know everything. And I got to tell you something. I got to make amends with you. I was procrastinating all week long. I've known for a week we're going to do this podcast. I studied this morning for an hour after I ate my waffles. And then I continued about my day, and I didn't put a lot of time into it. And I want to say that I'm sorry.
I don't forgive you, you bastard. Okay, so screw you. I'm leaving. Now, see, that's the thing that you could get back. You know what I mean? So this making amends shit doesn't. It backfires a lot of times. So be careful. Be careful. You know what? The thing is that you did your work. You got on. You emailed me 5 o'clock. You would have wanted to set this up. So I don't really give a shit if you procrastinated, because you know what? You did your deal. You did it. And we know that you don't need to make any amends over that shit. But I'll tell you what, sometimes they'll get you feeling guilty, and you might have to, but you don't have to, because we're deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous one step at a time. Okay. And tonight we're on step 10. Back to you, Joey.
Yeah, we're on step 10. And like I said, I barely did any homework. But, I have a few pointers I'd like to highlight. Let me first tell y'all what step 10 is. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. It's an admission and correction of errors right now. So I got from this, basically, I want to try and stay in the present, okay? As long as I stay in the present, I really don't get intoxicated by emotions that are going to make me be a jerk to someone else, so that I have to apologize to them later, or at that time that I'm being a jerk. There's a few different things of inventory checks, apparently, according to the 12 and 12. There's if you're a silver member,
Right.
you could do the spot check inventory.
That's the gold. That's the gold member, man.
That's the gold?
Yes, that's the gold member. Does a spot every second.
Oh, spot check inventory. Okay, yeah. You could do that any second, any time of the day. And then there's another one, the day's end inventory. What's that? Is that?
I would say that's the silver. You know, you're wasting
silver.
a whole day. You're not checking on yourself every second. Okay. You're not driving yourself crazy every second. So you're not gold, you're silver. And then we got to the bronze.
We got, I called it the inventory progress report, where I guess you could do it maybe every month, maybe every couple weeks, whenever you remember it. You got your bronze membership. What's below bronze?
They'll call us jackasses because we're not working the steps. You know, we're not working the steps. Meeting makers make it. Go to step meetings, and you're going to drink again if you don't do these steps. So watch out. Watch out. Well, you know the annual and semi-annual house cleaning. We're gonna get into this later on in the podcast. We're going to talk about retreats. Okay, I got a little tidbits for everybody about these retreats. Okay, so you back to you, Joey.
So yeah, like you were saying, we're going to talk about retreats. Yeah, that was the last one I was going to mention. They tell you can, which I was. It sounded to me like, oh, this is like you're a platinum gold VIP member if you can go on vacation a couple times a year and do your self overhaul, okay, and meditate and think about what you did wrong while you're on vacation.
No, that's true. So you're right. I think that goes back when you do them retreats and you do the annual and semi. Yeah, you go back into the platinum. Yeah, you're above the gold, right? Platinum's better. Yeah, you're right.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
But basically, it talks about inventory nonstop. but I don't know. I think you're kind of I'm always going back to this, that we know if we did something wrong. I don't really have to take an inventory at the end of the day or the end of the week to uh, go over my assets and my debts, like these guys in the book are referring to it because they're stockbrokers or whatever. Um, I actually I practice all day long, and I'm conscious of whether I'm, it being a dick or not. Naturally, I like to think that I'm not a dick, but if I'm, let's say, maybe I'm not being present, or I get my emotions in a position to influence me, maybe I'll snap at somebody, maybe I'll snap at my wife, and immediately I think, oh, if she talked to me that way, I wouldn't like it. And immediately, now I've been training myself to do this for a while. Maybe it didn't even take that much training. It's not a really difficult concept. But if basically, if you're when you're taking inventory, you're asking yourself, was I a dick today? That's pretty much it. But a lot of times during the day, and um, if I felt like I was being a dick, I usually realized it at the time, and I'll almost always say, "Hey, listen, it didn't that came out wrong. I was in a bad headspace. I'm sorry." And usually they they won't even know what I'm talking about because it's all in my head. Okay. Um, or it's with my wife, and I say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to snap at you like that." Uh, or if I really lose my temper, say to like a stranger or something like that, and I don't get a chance to say I'm sorry right away, because let's say I'm having a real bad day and somebody just cut me off, and I just let loose on them, and now I can't apologize to them. Okay, I have to think about what I did, how I could have paused, um, how I could have reacted better, and I'm usually upset because I embarrassed myself for some reason. And the only way to make myself feel better, because I can't apologize to the person, is to learn from those experiences. If I can't, and if I don't take those experiences as lessons, then I was just being a dickhead. That's all there is to it. So um, when I take my inventory, which I don't really, I think that I acknowledge it all day, every day. I think I'm very conscious of it. Um, I think that I've trained myself over time to identify it immediately. The only problem with that is when people are a dickhead to me, I expect more from them, and I will resent them for not apologizing to me. That that's the downside. What do you think about that?
That's where you're at today. No big deal. That's just where you're at. So you're aware, becoming aware, and you're doing the best you can. And so am I. We're becoming aware. And I don't go around all day long saying how fucked up I am, because I screw up all day long anyhow.
Mm.
I say shit to my wife. I mean, my wife gets on my ass for little shit that I don't even do. So, what the hell am I going to do? She ain't never going to say sorry to me. My wife's always right. Right, Jane? Okay. All right. And if she was here, she'd say, yes, I am always right. All right. But look, here's to the audience. First of all, if you don't do these steps, you're not going to drink. You're not going to die. Uh, nothing's going to happen to you. As long as you have a desire to stay sober, you can stay sober. You don't have to do none of these steps. They're codified steps. Yeah, let me just say this one thing to the viewers. We're talking about 12 steps. I hope, Joey, that you label this deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous, one step at a time, step 10. Okay, this step 10, listen to this. I want you to Google 12, the symbolic message of 12. You want to hear it? Okay, here it is. 12. That's why you got 12 steps. You got 12 traditions. You got 12 concepts. These people that designed, Phil Wilson and Dr. Bob did not design this program. If you think he did, you're mistaken. Okay, you're in a delusion. Magic. This is the definition of 12. Okay, 12 carries a religious, mythological, magical symbolism. Okay, the symbol of 12, representing perfection, entirety, or cosmic order in traditions since antiquity. Now, antiquity means, because I look words up, antiquity means ancient past. Okay, so these steps are very religious and symbolic because all AA has symbols. What do you think that coin is that's given out millions of times at every meeting? It's symbol. It's a symbolic message to keep you coming back. Okay, it just keeps you coming back. I like this part because it says right here in the very first page, it says, for the wise has always known that no one can make much of his life until self-searching becomes a regular habit, until it always says he. There's never she in here. It's always he, his. You know, there's this book is written 80 something years ago. Until he is able to admit and accept what he finds, and until he patiently and persistently tries to correct it is wrong. You know what? I'm all with that. But it's all written in one paragraph, and it's ancient, and we all know it. Anybody that's into motivational speakers, success, natural law, we all know these things. Okay. Anybody that's practicing spiritual principles, even atheists that are trying to live a better life, anybody that's trying to improve themselves is doing this, but it's not codified and it's not ritual. It's not symbolically rituated, codified with 12. Okay, so just to the viewers, let me tell you something. You're not going to drink, but if you go out drinking and drugging and blame the steps, oh, I didn't do step 4. That's why I drank. I didn't do step 8 and 9. That's what they want you to do. They want you to use this as a blame mechanism, just like the disease concept. So you can blame it on the disease and blame it on the step. Oh, I didn't get a sponsor, so that's why I drank. I didn't do step 11 properly. Now you drank because you wanted to more than you didn't want to. Period. That's how it works. I hate to say it, you know. We want to drink or drug more than we want to stay clean and sober and live a better life. You know, that's how it works. So I just want to get that out of the way, Joey, and we'll continue because Joe lives a simple life. He's staying sober, so am I, without working these steps. We're talking about these steps. We're deprogramming these steps to let people know that they don't have to blame this anymore on them because you are responsible. See, this program is teaching us, Joey and I are sitting here and we're learning and we're hopefully helping other people to know that they are creating their own program. They are responsible, not these steps. They're not responsible for what we do. This is an ancient way of living, you know, for the people that want to grow. And Joey and I, and we happen to like trying to be a little better, you know, than we were before. So that's how simple I want to keep it. And I know Joey keeps it real simple too. But what else you got on the steps? Because we've got a lot to go on this.
You know, I understand that the disease concept is a very convenient thing for alcoholics because it's a reason for the way they've felt or behaved their whole lives. They have a reason for it because they're an alcoholic. They have the disease of alcoholism, and they can blame it on that if they want to. And I never really, for some reason, realized how you could do the same thing with the steps. Just like you said, any given step, I can say, ah, I wasn't really thorough on my fourth step. That's probably why I drank. Yeah, it's another. That's it. That's it. That's an easy out. Uh, and then you can just then you can just go ahead and blame your sponsor while you're at it. Oh well,
Why not?
he didn't push me hard enough. Well, he didn't explain step 3 to me so I could do step 4, so I could do step 5. If he had done that, I wouldn't have drank.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way. I don't know why. It's pretty obvious now, but it makes a lot of sense what you said. Um, in the 12 and 12, it says, we have found that justified anger ought to be left to those better qualified to handle it. That just, I mean, that just pisses me off. That sentence just pisses me off.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a recipe for resentment. That's what I think. Um,
Where are you reading that? What, do you have the book here or something? Or you
no,
reading-
I don't have the book.
Oh, okay. No, because I remember reading that. Yeah. Say that over again where it says that.
We have found that justified anger ought to be left to those better qualified to handle it.
Like we're not qualified.
Like we're not qualified.
No,
I mean,
we're not. See, we're different than other human beings. We're so different that we're not qualified for anger because they don't want you to show any anger because in the traditions they want you to not talk about nothing, no resentment, no anger. Matter of fact, hell, I don't want you to have any. Watch out for your pride, your greed, your lust, your gluttony, your envy, your sloth. Watch out for your anger. Watch out for that anger. You can't have it.
yeah, it almost it almost is like a way for people to be okay with other people walking all over them.
Exactly.
And that's certainly not healthy. It goes on to say in a couple paragraphs later than that later, nor were we ever skilled in separating justified from unjustified anger. Well, first of all, we were always drunk. Okay, so probably most of the things that we got pissed off about were unjustified. I don't know. Maybe they were justified. Who knows? But um, we we were drinking. I they're always talking about how our best thinking got us here, and we were never skilled for this and that. Well, we were drinking. Okay, I was addicted to alcohol. I actually still was able to make a good amount of decisions, but pretty much every bad decision I made was because I was under the influence of it. Um, my best thinking is when I'm not drinking. Okay, my best thinking isn't when I was drinking. So don't say my best thinking got me here. Um, yeah, and it says I'm just gonna read off a couple quotes that stuck out to me. Um, One unkind tirade or willful snap can ruin a relationship for a day or a year. Now that this this all this stuff happens to everyday people, not just the people that are addicted to alcohol or any other kind of drug. Um, this shit happens every day in all types of relationships, in a work environment, in a home environment. How many times has a coworker pissed you off and then you're both just not talking to each other or short with each other for the next or month, or you're not talking to your wife and you're sleeping on the couch for 3 days to 2 weeks straight? And it's because you don't just sit down and talk about it like an adult. So I don't know. Just say, just you could just
Well,
if you're at
where
fault, say you're sorry.
where in the hell were we? We didn't have any tools or knowledge or information. We weren't going to therapy. We weren't going to counseling. How were we supposed to get all this information? And I'll tell you what, all these steps, they don't tell you how to do anything, because every step here, when I circle them, it tells you not my will, but thy will be done. And
Mm.
that's on page 93. Then it says today's sobriety only by the grace of God. Okay. And then it keeps on talking about that. It says God's help. Okay. So it's all, thank God for the blessings we have received. Okay, Joey can't see this because I have them all highlighted and stuff like that, but it's all about, look, this is, if you don't think this is a religious program, you probably never was in a religion, okay? There's probably 7 or 8, 10 prayers. Wait till we get next time to meditation and prayer, okay? And find out how many prayers are in this thing, okay, that we say is not religion, okay? But we're on step 10 now. And Joe brings up a good point. It's always like, where in the hell are the directions that show us exactly how to change or what we should do? They're telling us all this stuff. They're saying how screwed up we are. We got all these things, it's bad things. And then it says briefly in a couple of things, it'll say, but look at the good things too, okay? Well, look at the good things too. I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of damn good shit during my alcohol. They call it alcohol, my alcohol habit or my alcohol abuse. I did a lot of good things too, okay? Probably more good things than bad things, tell you the truth. Back to you, Joey.
Yeah. The only sentence that made sense to me when I was reading the 12 and 12 was the habit of self restraint needs to become automatic.
Yeah,
And that isn't worded perfectly, but it basically means, like I was saying, I feel like I've trained myself to react 80 to 90% of the time when someone really pisses me off, to just stop and think before I react and do something that I'm going to have to apologize for or be embarrassed about. Um, but I I really I don't know what else to say about this step, Bobby. I can tell you I don't have a pen and a pad every night, and I don't do my inventory for the day. I can tell you that much. And I don't do it for the month, and I don't go on vacation uh, and meditate on what I did wrong. If anything, I take inventory on how many Dr. Peppers I have left for the week before I have to go back to Stop and Shop.
exactly right. Hey, look, we're doing it right now. Look, let's stop here for a second and give everybody a credit. Give everybody a credit. Look, if you want to stay in Alcoholics Anonymous, stay there. We're not telling you to run. Just check things out. Check other information out. Check out what we're talking about. You know, and if it doesn't fit, hey, hang in there and check other things out. Experience and open your mind and expand your consciousness and awareness, and go check all other different things out. Take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Make it your own program. We're not telling you what to do here. We're just passing on some things that we're doing. And I'll tell you what me and Joe are doing now, right now. We are doing the best we can, and we're having fun, and we're actually making amends right here on this podcast, and we're celebrating. We're happy, joyous. They talk about this happy, joyous, the free. Right now, we're having fun, Joey and I, because we love doing this. You know, this is our thing. You know, we come on Saturday, we go through the day. This is our inventory right here. You know, it, this is what we do. It's easy. Two men sharing shit, talking back and forth. what better? I'm not a sponsor. He's not my sponsor. We're two buddies. We never even met in person. Okay. And we got this bond, this connection with you. And guess what? We could go meet each other and have a blowout and ship. You know what? We got enough sense to know that, hey, that was stupid. Let me give him a call. You know, I like the guy, I like his family. Let me call him and apologize. You know what I mean? Maybe I did get so. Step 10, like I told you, it's an ancient thing, and I personally like self-seeking. I mean, self-searching. I really enjoy it. And as far as me making anything a habit, to make restraining from tongue and pen and computer and email and all that other bullshit, just me personally, I had to go out and seek a lot of other different information that had like different things that I can relate to, you know. And I'm still learning. I'm still growing, you know. And I hope if you decide abstinence is for you, then you know I think me and Joe are on the same page with that. Now we're not saying you want to moderate, go ahead. You want to use Sinclair method, go ahead. You want to use harm reduction, go ahead. Try whatever. It's your deal. It's your program. You want to go in AA, NA. You want to go to Recovery Dharma, check that out. You want to go to SMART. You want to go to Fast Recovery, a new little recovery program. Check them all out. See it. But I'll tell you what, no matter who you check out and what you do, you want to check out Light Program, the Freedom Mark, no matter what you check out and what you do, it's going to come from you. Whatever is meant to be, it's up to me, and it's free. This stuff is free. You don't have to pay for nothing, okay? Unless you want to get so caught up in, oh, I got to have this, I got to get this, I got to get more. Like Joey and I were talking about levels and layers. I got to get more levels and layers, and I got to get into this deeper. I'm still searching, and I'm still seeking, and I'm finding out that it's all the same shit. You know, it's all the same stuff. Back
Yeah,
to you, Joe.
this is my meeting every week that I go to right here. My my podcast is a meeting that I have by myself. The reading that I do on my downtime about the stuff that I've now become interested in, like the history of Alcoholics Anonymous and the disease concept and addiction in general and how the brain works and this and that. And I enjoy reading about things I didn't know about. I enjoy reading about things that I question and that I disagree with. Whatever it is, I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying it because I can absorb it and understand it or not understand it or question it or do whatever I want because I'm not actively drinking, and all these little things that I'm doing that I do throughout the day, and it's become what I do now when I'm not drinking. All these things have become a habit, just like drinking was a habit or an addiction or whatever you want to call it. I If I stop doing all those things for some reason, I have no reason to stop doing them because the program that I've created for myself, I enjoy doing it, so I have no reason to stop. But if I were to stop doing it, uh, would my headspace change? Probably, because I'm not doing the things that I've been doing that I've been enjoying doing. So it's a good place to be in because I've created, I wouldn't call it a program, but I've created a routine that works for me that I enjoy doing, and it's something that I do all day long. I'm working my program routine all day long, whether it's communicating with someone on Instagram who is also who who was addicted to drugs or is addicted to alcohol or was addicted to alcohol, whether it's having a 2-second conversation with them, then I go about my business for a couple hours throughout the day. And then I listen to a podcast about someone's story, about how they were addicted to alcohol or drugs and how they've overcome that. And then I go throughout my day, and then I give Bobby C a call, and he tells me what's going on in his life and how he deals with things. And these are all things that I'm enjoying, and these are all things that are also healing me at the same time. And they're all experiences that are good for me, and they're all my routine. And it's a good place to it's a good place to be. I have no reason to want to go anywhere else right now. So I consider myself I consider myself very lucky. And at the same time, I also am looking forward to going to meetings because it's going to be something different. I can listen to things that I don't agree with. I can listen to things that I don't think there's going to be a lot I agree with, but I'll hear some things that I can definitely relate to. I'll be sitting in a room with a bunch of people that are addicted to alcohol or get addicted to alcohol, or they call themselves alcoholics. I call myself an alcoholic because it's easy. It's easy to say I'm an alcoholic. Um, so all those things. It's a it's a good place to be. You don't have to have 100% AA. You can keep your foot in the door. You can dabble in everything. Me and Bobby C were the sea urchin octopuses of recovery. We got a hand, a little over here, a little over here, a tentacle over here, over there, over there. That's what I do.
Yeah, now just to let now, see, me and Joe don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on things. Me, I don't call myself alcoholic today. Okay. That's just me today. Okay. I don't like the word. I don't like the label. First of all, I quit drinking so many damn years ago. I don't have a problem with alcohol and drugs today. None whatsoever. So why should I label myself something and repetitively talk about recovery? I believe my job is to go beyond recovery. I'm in recovery from a lot of different things today, but it's not alcohol and drugs. It's from the lies of society, the world, and the universe. I'm discovering things. You know, I'm really in recovery from a lot of the lies that I've been told, okay, through society, Alcoholics Anonymous, and society and the world. So I'm still in recovery, but I'm going beyond. I'm beyond the recovery trap, let's call it, where that's all we're talking about is recovery. Like Joey called me, or I called him the other day, and I said, thanks for letting me share with you, because I'm still going through some stuff. I was going through some traumatic, people would call it traumatic. I don't call it traumatic, but life situations that are very difficult. Okay. People might say, oh, Bob, things are so perfect and all that. No shit. The world ain't perfect, man. Life ain't perfect. That ain't the way it's meant to be. It's how I deal with shit in the world. You know what I mean? How I flow with it. I don't share my personal stuff on air, and I just don't do that. But my thing is, my whole purpose. People say, Bobby, why are you doing this shit? Why are you bad mouthing the trash in AA, or why you do? You know why I'm doing it? Here's why. Way back then, I didn't have a choice. Okay, 37 years ago, when I came in, they called me an alcoholic, and I didn't have a choice. I went there, and it helped me. It helped me point the way, and so did a lot of other things help me point the way. But I was responsible for doing it. I do it because the next generation, they don't want to be called labels. They don't want to be called alcohol. They don't want to be called labeled with a disease. See, I've studied this stuff for so long that I know about how the pyramid was created. It wasn't just enough to get the drunk. They had to get the whole family and create the 12 steps with the whole family, not just the person. They got the drunk, then they got the family, then they got the kids. See, when I was there going to AA, my wife was going to Al-Anon, another 12-step program. I brought my kids into Alateen, another 12-step program. See, they wanted to create, they started to market this recovery thing years and years and years ago. And they started writing books and writing tapes. Everybody remembers Bradshaw, probably never even heard of him. But years and years ago, he started this movement too, with all the alcoholism and the codependency and adult children of alcoholics and all that stuff. They made it a family disease so they can get the whole family involved, okay? Around the 12, 12, 12, symbolic 12. So I study this shit and I still study it today, and I'm becoming aware of what the hell is going on. I don't want my grandkids, if they need a problem, I don't want them to be labeled alcoholic just because they're drinking, just because they're out there getting drunk one day a week or something and going through some adolescent stuff. I want them to be able to learn that they have a habit. If they're creating a habit, they can uncreate it. Okay. It's just like moderation. People moderate. What is the definition of moderation? What do you moderate? What's moderation to you? Okay. If I had a habit before, if I moderate, that means I still can eventually create another habit. So I'm careful with that. I believe in abstinence because of that reason. Plus, I'm cheap. Who the hell wants to buy a beer for $7 and say, oh, look, I'm moderating. I can drink a beer just to prove that the alcohol industry already. That's another thing I talk about is the alcohol industry. Nobody holds them responsible for the devastating consequences it has on society because they're all in the pockets of the politicians. You got the alcohol industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the recovery industry, the government. They're all together. They all work together. I go deep. When I talk, I go down the rabbit hole and talk about controversial things that other people won't talk about because we're not allowed. Remember, in Alcoholics Anonymous, you can't talk because the traditions will keep you from talking about outside issues. But me and Joe are here to just pass on some little bit of information. Back to you, Joe. Sorry I went on that rant.
Yeah, you could call it information. You could call it experience, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully it's helpful information or helpful experience, but I don't know. I I I'll, I do refer to myself as an alcoholic, and I'm not sold that alcoholism is a disease. I know that I can't drink like other people. I know that I can't drink in the same way that other people can't drink. And they call themselves alcoholics. So I do categorize myself. I guess I do label myself
Okay.
in that way. Um, it maybe it does help me because then because my mind is constantly trying to tell myself, my mind is always trying to convince me that I can drink responsibly. My mind is always trying to tell me, hey Joe, you only drank the way you did because of the situation you were in, you didn't want to be in. That's why you drank that way. You only drank that way because Sarah was pissing you off. You only drank that way because you didn't like the job you had. You only drank that way because who wouldn't want to drink that way if it made you feel that good after a long week of work and you pay the bills and you are a responsible person. So I don't mind calling myself an alcoholic when I'm in an AA meeting. I'm not sold on that it's a disease. I don't know what it is. I just know that I could drink tomorrow and the following day maybe I won't drink. Day after that, I'll drink. And then eventually I'll be getting up at 6 in the morning and sneaking beers. And then I'll be drinking all day long. And then I'll start drinking and driving. And then I'll lose my license. And then I'll lose my job. And then I end up in jail because I'm getting behind the wheel.
That sounds like a quick cost benefit analysis you just did in about 30 seconds. You just told me why you wouldn't drink because of all that. That's more cause and effect. You know the cause and effect that happens when you drink. So that's you just did with the like Smart Recovery tells people to do in their books, and you don't even know nothing about Smart Recovery. So you just did it naturally. That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, okay, that is cool then. Because I tell you what, I still do want to drink because I do miss that feeling. I miss that feeling of intoxication. But I don't want it more than what it's going to cost me because I know what it's going to cost me. Like I said, it might not happen. Well, immediately one thing is going to happen. My wife's going to leave me.
Right. That's
Uh,
a biggie. That's a biggie right there. That's the whole
right,
enchilada. You know
right.
what I mean?
And and after that, I can fool myself if I'm
Yeah, that feeling is going to go away pretty quick, man. But your wife leaving you, shit, that pain's going to suffer.
yeah,
That consequences is going to last a long time, man.
right,
So that damn pain versus pleasure shit with them feelings. Okay, so we could feel like, hey, that might be a cool feeling. Like you know what? I think about smoking pot, how that used to feel. Hey, man, maybe I could smoke some weed and shit like that and feel good. But it's proven to me that I get paranoid and I don't like smoking weed and I ain't going to do it. You know why I don't want to do it? Because I love being clear and aware.
yeah,
I just I just like being like I am without all that shit,
right,
you know? So, but here, you just did it again. You just did another for the audience. You might not even be doing it for yourself, but you are doing it for yourself because you're listening to some feedback from it, because that's what the whole thing is about. You get some feedback. But shit, that feeling, of course, we're gonna have some thoughts. If they're only thoughts, they come into their head, they're not real, and they leave.
that's right.
It's when you maintain a thought, wherever the attention goes, the energy flows, and that's where you go. Okay. So if you maintain the thoughts of using and how pleasurable it is and how great it is, and not think about all the consequences, we tend to go that way.
Mm,
Okay. But you're not doing that because you're here on the podcast with Bobby C. Okay.
that's right.
And you're reading shit and you're looking at stuff and we're talking about stuff. How in the hell could you ever, after we're done, if you go out and drink, want to go shoot some dope or drink, you'd be a fucking knucklehead. So your wife should leave you.
That's right. I agree with that 100%. So, what do you think, Bobby C? Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, you know what? Another time I'll talk about Mount Talbot Retreat and how the Catholic Church is hijacked, took over Alcoholics Anonymous from the very beginning. And we'll talk about Matt Talbot and how they want to canonize him as a saint and all that stuff and why so many alcoholics go to Matt Talbot retreats. We'll talk about that another time.
All
But
right, good.
next podcast, we're going to be on step 11.
Step 11.
Yeah. And we're getting through there. And then see, these steps are cool, but they get you to 12, and 12 gets you hooked, where you got to go out and recruit others. Makes your lifetime. That's where it turns it into a Mooney cult. That's the whole end result. Now you're going to spread the message. The message. Yeah, we can wrap it up, Joe.
All right. Well,
Oh, let me do a shout out for Anonymous Addiction at My Truth About AA, as Bobby C sees it on Facebook. It's a private group. Come join us. Even this podcast right now, go down and like and subscribe. Subscribe to our channel. Because we're going to be doing this stuff over and over. We're going to be doing all kinds of different stuff. We're going to have Sarah in, and we're going to have other people in. Matter of fact, we're going to start inviting other people in eventually and do some podcasts with other people too.
hey, listen, I'm going to convert this podcast to just audio. And if anyone wants to listen to that, maybe Bobby C, you could put it up on your Facebook group so people can just listen to it maybe while they're driving a car or something like that if they don't want to.
But you're gonna put it both. You're gonna put it to YouTube
I'm gonna
audio.
I'm gonna
You're
do
gonna,
both.
yeah, do both, yeah.
All
But,
right.
yeah, we're gonna go to YouTube and we're gonna have posted probably, Alcoholics Anonymous Deprogramming Podcast, step 10 or whatever. But Joey takes care of that. He's the administrator, you know, he's like the guru of, the computer. He's a computer expert.
I am quite an IT guy. I have the IT guy beard.
Right.
This you know, it's kind of what I do these days. Anyway,
All right, we're gonna sign off. How about Joe, give a shout out to where they could find you at?
you can find me at Brutsob on Twitter, at Brutsob. You can find me Brutsob on Instagram. And you can find me on Anchor FM, Brutally Sober Podcast. You can find me on Spotify and pretty much any other platform.
He's got
that
the tentacles
provides-
out. He's like an octopus. He's all over the place.
I
you
am
know?
I am an octopus. I am
Yeah,
like
he's an octopus now. He's all over. And he does a 24-hour little podcast on a 24-hour talk too. He does a short one and he breaks it down.
so check that out. It's just about every day. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's at night. And yeah, just about almost every day you can get a little something from Joey C at the Brutally Sober Podcast. I help to get you through the day, or maybe it's just that it'll be another person you can resent. Who knows? Either
Yeah,
way.
is there a link you could put down on my thing down below there that says Anonymous Addiction at My Truth About AA Facebook? Can you put that link down underneath our
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna see everybody. Joey and I are gonna talk a minute or two after this podcast, but we'll see everybody.
But
next
obviously, what kind of question is that? I'm the IT guy. Come
Oh,
on.
what the hell am I
You
saying?
know, that's nothing. I got it. I'm all over it.
Piece of cake.
All right, everybody. I hope everyone has a good night. I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Don't forget to subscribe and look forward to deprogramming the 11th step.
That's right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.